My name is Flash Isaac, and I'm a teacher from the future. When I was much younger, I saw thousands and thousands of people fail Jamb and unable to gain admission. This made me travel in time. Now I am back with the Flashlearners Jamb app and a series on YouTube tagged 120 Days to Jamb. My mission is to help you blast Jamb and as well get justice for everyone who Jamb has served breakfast. This is episode number 85 of the 120 Days to Jamb Chemistry with Flash Isaac. In this episode, we shall be naming these two compounds. Now, I want you to shine your eyes. If you look at these two compounds, you will notice something unique and something new. For the first one above, you see for the first time we are seeing just carbon linking to oxygen and another hydrogen by the side. For the first time, we are seeing carbon linking to only oxygen, not OH, but only oxygen. Unlike where we had something like this, and I told you this is the same thing as COH, which is the alkanol group. Ladies and gentlemen, this one is not an alkanol, this one is not an alkanol. The functional group here is either CO or you say CHO. I'll tell you the reason. But the functional group here is CO. This is the functional group. Ladies and gentlemen, anytime you see a compound with C double bond to O and there is no OH close to it, it is either an alkanal, which is aldehyde, or alkanone, which is ketone. You may be wondering, sir, what do you mean by when there is no OH beside it? Let me draw something else. In this compound, you see towards the end, you have C double bond to O, and still at that carbon, you have OH, which can also be in the form of OH. This is different from this, and this is different from this. When you see a compound and the end is carbon to oxygen and carbon to OH, this is simply COOH. In this case, you are dealing with carboxylic acid. When you are given a compound and there is CO, and the CO is at the middle, as we are seeing here, this center, like this is an alkanone. But when there is CO, but the CO is at the terminal carbon, either the first carbon or the last carbon. When the CO is at the first carbon or at the last carbon, we are dealing with alkanol. When the C to O is at the middle of carbon, in between two alkyl groups, we are dealing with alkanones. And when at the first carbon or the last carbon, you have COOH, you are dealing with carboxylic acid. Now, I told you that for the alkanal functional group, which is the same thing as aldehyde, alkanals are also referred to as aldehyde. The suffix is Al. The functional group are usually the suffix in naming of compounds, which is the ending. So suffix here is al. For alkanones or ketones, alkanones are referred to as ketones. The suffix is on. For carboxylic acids, the suffix is oic acid. So, oic acid. Now, we've identified the functional group, and this is not the last naming of compound we shall do under alkanal alkanals and carboxylic acid. But it is good you know that for alkanals, carbon to oxygen is at the end, either at the first carbon or at the last carbon. And if you combine everything at this edge, that will give you CHO. So we can call CHO the functional group of alkanal. Here, CO. Here, COOH. Now look at something. There is what we call carbonyl compounds. In organic chemistry, any compound you see having this type of bond, like C double bond to O, C double bond to O, C double bond to O, they are referred to as carbonyl compounds. And the top carbonyl compounds are alkanals, alkanols, carboxylic acid, and esters. Esters are derivatives of carboxylic acid. When alkanols, alcohols, react with carboxylic acid or alkanoic acid, they will form esters and water. So, functional group is R. We know that the naming will end in R. The long chain is 3. That is prop. So the root is prop. And the functional group is on carbon 1 because we certainly start naming from here. 1, 2, 3. So this is, if this is our chain, apart from the functional group, we don't have any branch, no branches. So this is the root name, prop or propan 1O. This is propan 1O. If we have something like this here, let's say CH3 being on carbon 2, this name would be 2-methyl propan 1O. Despite naming so many compounds, the patterns basically remain the same. At this point, there are compounds you may not be able to name, but once you see the wrong name, you know that this is not correct. This is why in Jamb objective question, you are going to do very, very well under naming of compounds. For here, we know that the surface is O, that is the functional group, and the longest chain has to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Because if we start counting from here, here will be carbon 3, and that is giving the functional group the bigger number. So 2 O. The longer chain is but, and that is the parent. So but 2 O or butan 2 O. If there were, let's say, CH3 here or any other carbon, this is carbon 2 and this is methyl group, that would be 2 methyl but 2 O. You can put any other thing that you like. Now let's do something. How about this is just hydrogen, and here you have C2H5 and here is C2H5. You will agree with me that this C2H5 is the same thing as C, H, 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 and H. If you have something like this, ladies and gentlemen, the longest chain will no longer be here. It will be like this. It will start from here, definitely, to give this functional group the smallest number. But it will continue like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if the longest chain becomes 5, here automatically becomes a branch. And 5 as a long chain, that is pent. And functional group is on the second carbon, that is pent 2 O. This branch is therefore on carbon 3. So, and it is a methyl group, CH3. That will give you 3 methyl pentones. Anyhow they bring it, any branch they bring, we are able to. Now look at here. This is 1, 2, 3, 3. And we know that for carboxylic acid, the surface is oic acid. So 3 carbon is prop. This is simply prop or propan. Propanoic acid. That is basically it. Propanoic acid. If there were attachments here like methyl, it will be 1, 2, 2 methyl propanoic acid. Ladies and gentlemen, we come to the end of this episode. In the next episode, we try again. If you've not subscribed to this channel, feel free to do so right now. Tell your friends, families, enemies to subscribe, and make sure you install the Flashlearners Jamb app and begin to practice questions. It is never too late to get the Flashlearners app. It works offline and this is going to help you pass very, very well.